This is video made by many people. Main coordinator of the whole thing is Gabri, as far as I understand. And
yeah. Basically, the idea is that this is one of those feedback for the dev type of vid. Gabri wanted to get everything that he could think of in like one vid for feedback.
All right, let's go.
I'm sure you've heard by now that Elden Ring has a mode where you can rock your socks against fellow gamers. And it's called PvP. And I'm willing to bet that you've heard horrible stories about it. Or maybe you've seen any of these PvP atrocities online.
My man. Oh. Oh my god, we went such a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, we really did. This
Over the
goes
course
to
of
show.
several months and numerous patches, FromSoft, the developer studio of Elden Ring, in case you somehow didn't know, diligently addressed and resolved most of these issues. In addition to these significant problems, they also made other balance adjustments that may not have been as visually impactful, such as introducing separate scalings for PvP and reducing the speed of the thrusting sword's crouch attack. These seemingly minor changes were not implemented randomly. They were actually suggested by the Elden Ring community, and the developers took their feedback into consideration. Still skeptical? Take a look at this. Patch 1.10 incorporated changes that closely mirrored a guide video created by Gabri, an active member of the PvP community.
Weapons like stray swords, katanas, axes, spears can now break your passive poise entirely, all the time.
The patch has been universally praised for its positive impact on combat flow.
No, you can go.
But actually, not really, by the way. It's
Yeah, that's why I was laughing, because it's been fairly mixed, actually.
Yeah, I would say it's 50-50 pretty much, yeah. Like, a lot of people love it, but the similar amount of people absolutely hate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And build diversity, marking it as a huge success of what happens when constructive, well-laid suggestions reach developers who are willing to listen. So a bunch of nerds from the PvP community united forces to create a video that aims to keep communication with the devs about any issues, glitches, or bugs that get out of their cavern and show their ugly faces. All of this is aimed at capturing the attention of a wider audience for PvP, which is undeniably crucial in keeping the game thriving for many years to come, just as it did with Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3. This video will be split into two parts, with this whole video being the first part, whereas the next part will be uploaded in a few days. We will begin by discussing the quality of life improvements, followed by the specifics of combat balance. Rest assured, I will ensure that the discussion remains engaging and enjoyable for you, my little Shake Shacks. So, without any further delay, let's dive into that cesspool. Let's simplify things. For those who are unfamiliar, Elden Ring offers 3 multiplayer modes: Colosseum, Co-op, and Invasions. In the Colosseum, you can engage in 1v1, 2vr2, or even 3v3 battles against other gamers. In co-op, you can assist a fellow gamer in defeating bosses in their world with a limit of 2 friendly, summonable phantoms. And lastly, Invasions, where the objective as an invader is to defeat the host and disrupt their tea party. Now that we've covered that, let's move on to the balance suggestions. 3 months after its release, Elden Ring's multiplayer activity is significantly lower than that of Dark Souls 3, when adjusted for active players, of course. Despite having a much larger player base, this decline is mainly attributed to the full calling finger remedy, which is an item that allows you to see Solman signs and use some multiplayer items, and this often leaves players unaware of cooperative and PvP opportunities. In previous games, multiplayer was less easily missed. For example, the visibility of white summoning signs was linked to embers in Dark Souls 3, and red signs were always visible even when unembered. However, embers offered health restoration and max HP boosts, naturally encouraging their use and ensuring frequent multiplayer encounters, as was the case in other Souls games. The issue with this is that the player has no incentive to use the finger remedy unless they specifically want to engage in PvP activities. There are no additional bonuses associated with using the item, unlike in previous Souls games. Thus, its existence seems solely designed to hinder multiplayer activity and serves no other purpose. Sign visibility should always be active when playing online to ensure that everyone is aware of the multiplayer options. The item desperately needs a rework. Regardless of FromSoftware's chosen solution, it should have PvE bonuses.
Jesus, they are speedrunning through the list.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had a lot of things. I went with Gabri through everything, and man, this shit was packed. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things. So far, so good.
Yeah, all right, another one.
Do you know what Taunter's tongue is, Tarnished? This item is obtained after you defeat Mad Tongue Alberic NPC in Round Table Hold. Its sole purpose is to allow invaders when you're playing alone, eliminate invasion's cooldown, and allow a second invader when you're playing co-op with someone. Currently, Elden Ring allows a maximum of 4 gamers in one session. This is by default 1 host, 2 phantoms, gold or blue, and 1 invader. With Taunter's Tongue, you can have 2 invaders, making the invasion a 2v2. However, this system can be easily abused, because a host can disable Taunter's Tongue whenever he wants, luring invaders easily and keeping advantage by not allowing a second one to enter the world. Elden Ring's limit of 2 invaders with the Taunter's Tongue and 1 without it often results in unbalanced 3v1 situations due to the 4-player limit. This, combined with powerful weapons and spells, makes invasions highly unbalanced and discouraging, especially for newcomers. All of these issues can be addressed with one change, increasing the player limit to 6, with a maximum of 3 players allied with the host. This ensures that the host receives help from 2 white phantoms, as well as a blue phantom, but also leaves a minimum of 2 slots for invaders. This allows for various scenarios and matchups, such as 4v2, 3v2, 3v3, and 2v2. In most cases, the host maintains the numerical advantage, but even the worst-case scenario of 4v2 would still be far preferable for an invader compared to the 3v1 we have now. Additionally, we should prevent hosts from disabling Taunter's Tongue during invasions to deter hosts from abusing it and ensure invaders can receive assistance. Dark Souls 3 allowed players to summon the maximum possible number of duelist red phantoms even when they weren't embered. The host should be able to summon the maximum number of duelist phantoms without any additional restrictions, regardless of whether the Taunter's Tongue is active or not, or if
I actually want to point something here. When I was practicing to Dark Souls 3 tournament, I actually witnessed for the first time that you can literally summon like 5 red phantoms to your world through the red soap sign, and I couldn't fucking believe it.
I think for five you need to have the right finger active though.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, the point being, I was looking at it. I was like, what the fuck? Why Dark Souls 3 had it? Like, why Elden Ring doesn't have it? Like, I just literally couldn't believe it because yeah, I essentially skipped Dark Souls 3, so I wasn't even aware, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, that would be such a nice thing to have. If you could have like at least these 3 red phantoms in your world, then you still would be able to have somewhat like functioning fight clubs. And right now it's just like fight clubs cannot function essentially. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, this is old news though. This is the type of stuff we were complaining when the game came out.
Yeah,
complaining about. I mean.
Yeah, I never was into like, you know, fight clubs and so on. Never really bothered, but the Dark Souls 3 adventure of mine made me realize how fucked the system is.
I mean, it all comes down to the 4-player limit, which is, you know, we can speculate as to why they went with 4-player instead of 6-player limit. We know it's possible because the arena now has 6-player limit, but the 4-player limit is kind of like the root cause of like a lot of the downfall of like invasions and duels.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
if the bosses are alive or not. Making red signs readily accessible also provides a convenient way for new players to try and learn PvP with little to no commitment, and multiplayer items like Taunter's tongue should not require Furl calling finger, as it's counterintuitive to the user experience, and it should allow invasions even when
People
the area
even
boss
today
is dead.
ask me
If
how I
hardware
summon
limitations
two
prevent a
phantoms to my
6-player
world.
open world experience, restrict the 6-player feature to dungeons, legacy dungeons, and/or areas where Torrent cannot enter. In summary, increasing the player limit and removing these restrictions would rejuvenate community events and improve the balance and enjoyment of invasions in Elden Ring. In previous games, periodic PvP invasions added excitement, creating unique moments in each playthrough. You never knew when a rabid monkey would come out of nowhere to chew ass and kick bubblegum. However, Elden Ring's implementation makes invasions opt-in, limited to specific conditions like summoning cooperatives or using Taunter's tongue. This funnels invaders to co-op players, leaving solo players without PvP opportunities. Unlike the old invasions, Taunter's tongue invasions are constant and disrupt the overall gameplay experience, eliminating the excitement of occasional and unpredictable encounters that made Souls games memorable. Also, just like when summoning duelists, you're also inviting players to come to your world when using the Taunter's tongue, which kind of goes against the very core definition of what an invasion really is.
Doesn't work if you invite them. Idly hey!
Go home.
Doodly-doo!
So what can From Software do about it? Well, similar to Dark Souls 3, upon
Actually,
activating a
true, though.
rune arc, a player's world should become open to invasions. Additionally, defeating a boss could reward the host with both a rune arc and automatically put them in rune arc mode. This would allow all players to experience PvP during their playthrough without needing to use a rune arc from their inventory. To make this system work in Elden Ring, solo host invasions should primarily occur in dungeons, legacy dungeons, and non-open world areas, with a few exceptions sprinkled in. This way, we can preserve uninterrupted open world exploration in Torrent. This will diversify invaders' targets, making it appealing for newcomers, as they won't get constantly destroyed by 3-man squads.
Same area.
Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry, Restless. Holy fuck.
Yeah, just fucking.
Yeah.
Dirty. Furthermore, this change revitalizes the role of blue phantoms, making them defenders of unprepared hosts against threatening invaders, instead of currently being reduced to the role of absolute bullies when joining a host who usually already has help against a lone invader. This middle ground broadens the appeal of PvP and enhances the gaming experience, reminiscent of past games' immersive invasions. As for the minority completely opposed to invasions, they can still avoid PvP by not using rune arcs in dungeons or invadable areas, or simply by playing offline. Even when losing to an invader, normal gamers understand that dying and improving are integral aspects of the Souls formula. In this sense, losing to a human player is no different from losing to an AI enemy, and some of the people that complain about invasions can't even tell the difference from an AI invader to a human invader, so it's a mistake to catch that minority. That being said, there are other issues that can reasonably deter people from PvP. One in particular that I consider would be the most important one. Did you know that currently there are no unique rewards for engaging in PvP Tarnished? The only rewards at the moment are rune arcs or runes, both of which can be easily acquired by easier means. There's also no sense of accomplishment or recognition either. No leaderboards, no ranks, no achievements. Not even a pat on the back after barely winning that invasion against a 3-man gank squad. No wonder gamers outright opt out of PvP entirely. There's no reason to engage in it, so what can be done about it? In Dark Souls 1, there was a leaderboard for the top servants of chaos.
Completely filled with cheaters from the day
Yeah,
one.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I forgot who wanted that leaderboard, but I don't really think it very fits like Souls.
It's, I mean, they would need to legitimately host this type of bullshit somewhere on their servers instead of in the clients, like, or like, you know, it's just, it's so weird what they are doing with this type of stuff. At this point, it's better to not have them than have leaderboards like they had in basically every single entry of Souls game, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these leaderboards because they don't really mean anything most of the time either.
Yeah, it's strict leaderboard, not like elo based, not any sort of the rank. Yeah, it's just I would say that still I prefer the most the system from Dark Souls 2, where you're actually getting funny stuff like different color of the aura, or like more detailed aura and so on. It was pretty cool. I think we don't really need leaderboards, I believe.
I think I would like the Runar shop better.
I mean, Runar shop is completely different topic. That one is the fact we don't have something like that is just ridiculous. Yeah, I would say.
Well, it's not different topic because it's a reward. Since you're rewarded Runarks, like the Runark shop would get into the category of rewards, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. It's just the thing is that this is like an in-game kind of currency for the sake of that allows you for the progression of your character, or like, you know, having refill of the supplies of yours, and the other one is just pure incentive for the sake of the PvP for, you know, let's say like self-improvement. Yeah, like that's why you have ranks. Yeah, you want to show that someone you are. I
mean, we have ranks.
Right, we do.
have ranks.
Right.
And it can even go. Can it go down in this game? I don't even know.
I have no idea if it can go down. What I know though is, for whatever reason, I have like 5 characters that rank being shared between each other. I think
that makes sense. I don't know. I forgot. I don't think they're shared. I don't know.
I have like 5 characters that for sure rank shares between each other, and I have 2 characters that, well, the rank doesn't share between each other. I have no idea what the fuck is this. If that's like some sort of shenanigans related to the characters being created with cheat engine, or something like that, I have no clue. Maybe cheat engine, maybe some other bullshit. But yeah. Of course, which essentially what I mean by that, the system is not protected whatsoever and doesn't say anything yet again. I think you are getting the highest rank after like 10 wins or something like that too.
I forgot what it was when I tested it. I think it was like 36.
36 wins.
I think. If I remember correctly. It could be 35, but I think it was 36.
It's such a small amount, dude. Like in Dark
without
Souls 3,
it was without losing 36 wins in a row.
I see.
Or 30, yeah. I don't know.
Jesus,
I forgot.
It's such a small amount, dude. To get that aura, that pretty aura in Dark Souls 2, you needed like 150. But you had to be on a net positive with your wins. You needed net positive of 150 wins. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that one. Alright, let's continue.
If FromSoft could reintroduce leaderboards in Elden Ring, as they offer a more lasting sense of accomplishment than just item rewards, having leaderboards for co-op, invasions and arena duels would tremendously enhance the experience and provide a nice incentive to engage in PvP. To prevent cheating, arena duels should also be based on an elo system. Alternatively, if leaderboards prove to be challenging to implement, making arena medals more rewarding by making them easy to lose could be a solution. This system would ensure that medals reflect player skill and achievement in terms of item rewards. A rune arc shop where players can spend their rune arcs earned through PvP to purchase all in-game items is highly recommended. However, it would be best to unlock the rune arc shop after completing New Game Plus to maintain balance. This approach would motivate gamers to engage in multiplayer for faster rune arc accumulation and enhance the overall gaming experience. Additionally, implementing upgrade materials as rewards, similar to Dark Souls 2, would be a nice addition to Elden Ring. These materials could be obtained as random drops in PvP encounters. It would be ideal if PvP could provide items that are useful for both PvE and PvP, creating more incentive for players. This system could also integrate with the leaderboard we discussed earlier, increasing the chances of a co-op/host obtaining an ancient dragon smithing stone when defeating a high-ranking invader, and vice versa. And finally, we come to the most important multiplayer feature that is missing in Elden Ring. Have you noticed how Elden Ring's lore is filled with factions, kingdoms, and nations in conflict? The Dragon Cult, the Confessors, Assassins of the Two Fingers, Carrion Knights, Fear's Champions, Volcano Mano recusants, Mog's bloody fingers. Yes, we have a lot of different groups, but
Ungon
no
podkreślenie
covenants at
just
all.
subscribe.
Covenants would enhance the
Transit
multiplayer
gifted at tier 1
experience by
sub to
adding a
Ungon
role-playing
podkreślenie.
element and creating a
This is their
sense of
first
belonging
gift
to
sub in the
specific
channel.
factions. This addition would undoubtedly serve as a powerful motivator for engaging in more thrilling PvP encounters. Unfortunately, Elden Ring missed a significant opportunity by not implementing covenants, likely due to time constraints. The specifics of each covenant will be up to From Software, but the idea is presented here. Hopefully, we will see something about it in the DLC.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Thanks a lot, Transit, for the sub. Appreciate that, my dude. But yeah, it's hopefully, honestly, it's all we can say. You even have the prompts for the covenants in the game files. So something was definitely in the development. The question is if they scratched it for good, or maybe we are actually going to have it reintroduced in the DLC.
I think there's a good chance. I mean, Frosty was guaranteeing me that it was there.
Oh,
so.
yeah. My favorite coper in the entire community, dude.
Gotta love Frosty, man.
Gotta love Frosty, man. Alright. Arena is very disappointing, huh? That's a good start. Let's see what they have to say here.
Let's start pointing out the obvious. The current arena sucks, and that's because of two main issues: divisive modes and the layout of the arenas. So let me explain to you why the current circular arena sucks donkey balls. First, the arena is extremely large and round. Huge maps and no corners means that an opponent can just run away the whole match, and under certain builds and latency conditions, they can be basically untouchable. To address this, a solution would be to repurpose Colosseum arena assets to create small square or rectangular maps with corners for skillful duels. Introduce maps with verticality, ample walls, and cover for projectile defense. Also, specific maps should be assigned to their appropriate modes: duels, combat ordeal, united combat, to maintain fair competition. This is especially important if quick matches with their own leaderboard that we mentioned earlier will be implemented to preserve skillful gameplay and point fairness. Another of the Colosseum's major issues is that it offers an excessive number of PvP modes and options that ultimately divide the player base, resulting in only 1v1 duels remaining active. To address this problem while maintaining the current range of
I actually want to address it real quick. It's not like the duels are the only active, it's just that people in the other game modes being scattered across different lobbies, because if you are not going to find the lobby of someone else instantly, then you are becoming the host. And then you ending up, for example, having like 12 players scattered across like 8 different lobbies, and they cannot connect with each other because there is no real matchmaking. Instead, Arena, for the team-based game modes, is using like invasions system, and it's fucked. we really need exclusive matchmaking for the arena that simply works, yeah, because this is the main issue why we cannot find the people to play against in 4v4 and 6 not 4v4, Jesus, 2v2 and 3v3 modes, or like the brawls. Right, let's go further.
player choices, we recommend the introduction of a quick match option and a lobby system, drawing inspiration from FromSoftware's
Beautiful
Armored Core
artwork, by the way.
involves automated matches without password changes or map
Gee, are you
selection.
here, by the way?
Conversely, custom match operates
Okay.
like the lobby system in Armored Core 6, offering full customization. Selecting quick match offers 4 options: Any, Duels, United Combat, and Combat Ordeal. The Any option is crucial, enabling queue access to all other modes, promoting team-based battles akin to invasions but in an arena setting, addressing a missing element in the base game. Other modes under quick match would remain basically the same. It's very important that all modes, not just any, prohibit spirit summons, map selection, and password changes to reduce reduce player division and enhance matchmaking across all modes, not just duels. In other words, the more monkeys we gather in the same place, the better. If the previously mentioned leaderboards were to be implemented, they should be exclusive to Quick Match to prevent password cheating. Another mode for the arena, apart from Quick Match, could be Custom Match for those who want a more specific experience. You would have two options: Create Room and Search Room. Create Room lets you customize settings similarly to the current arena options, with the option to set a password or not. Under Search, you can find lobbies or rooms
graphic
created
design
by
is my
others.
passion.
With a password, you only see rooms with the same password. Without one, you can join open rooms. This system provides visibility into active rooms, improving the experience compared to the current random join approach.
Can you pause
when
it real quick?
Yes, sure.
You know what I find funny is that on Armored Core, people want Quick Match, and then in Elden Ring, people want lobbies, but both of the games are like fairly dead, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't think either solution is great. Like
I mean, it's because Elden Ring players are at this point on their cope. They just want anything.
yeah, I don't think that the lobby would fix anything. Like from what I heard, Armored Core is pretty damn dead right now with the lobby system.
Yeah, it's the problem with the player base over there. Like there is actually bigger player base on Elden Ring, I bet, than Armored Core at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean we've talked about this like a few days ago, but I don't know. I don't think this is actually a fix. More like a drop in the water, just trying to make waves for not much of a change.
Yeah, it's fundamentally the systems that we have, or differently, the design for the way how the matches are created is fine. The problem is, yet again, it's people getting scattered across different lobbies, because for whatever reason we don't have matchmaking in the arena at all, and that's fact. If we had matchmaking, this problem
if
wouldn't exist.
the matchmaking actually, like you said, worked a little better, I think that would be like enough. Like there's no need to change all the things that they're mentioning. It doesn't really change anything in my opinion.
Yeah. We just need exclusive arena matchmaking and not literally invasions matchmaking that is just slapped on the arena. Alright, let's continue.
Searching for a room, you can choose to join if there's an available spot or spectate without occupying a slot. This feature is crucial in competitive games, enabling event organization and community engagement. In the case that the previous suggestions are too complex or time-consuming, introducing an any game mode option will be a very simple way to pull more players together
No one would
and
use
boost
that.
activity across all modes. Last but not
No
least,
one would use
the
that.
arena
That's such a
lacks
bad
phantom
idea.
Colors, causing confusion in United Combat and Combat Ordeal. Adding at least 2 distinct colors for United Combat would alleviate this issue. So, we have addressed...
I told them, like, don't do that. Like, that's such a bad idea. No one would use it. They still put it in the vid, even though, like, I felt like I convinced them. Unfortunate. Whatever. Just keep going.
all of the issues of the PvP system respectively, but there's a few more general quality of life changes that we also have to mention. Yeah, I know, the game needs a lot of work put into it. We all know latency is always going to be there, but there are ways to make it less of an inconvenience. One of them being the implementation of a ping priority filter. This filter would prioritize players with better connections, ensuring stability. Unlike adding more regions, a ping priority filter doesn't segregate players by region, but selects the best connections from the entire pool. And another one being fixing the problem with easy anti-cheat, which has been proved to nearly double the ping between gamers. Finding a fix for this issue is important to keep players engaged and give the game a longer lifespan. For some reason, certain items have unnecessary limitations in PvP. For example, the Flask of Wondrous Physics can only be used once per life. Suitable for PvE, but problematic in PvP because in extended sessions it becomes just an empty Gatorade bottle in your inventory. Allowing it to refill after defeating a player would enhance long PvP sessions, which come in abundance. Also, in the context of a 6-player limit and fight clubs, this addition ensures that duelists can continue fighting and receive rewards for consistent victories. Another issue is that rune arcs are needlessly restricted in PvP. Why can't everyone use rune arcs during invasions or duels? For example, the host's advantage with great runes during a duel with a red summon duelist is unfair, or in 3 versus 1 cases too. Rune arcs should be accessible in multiplayer, especially for red duelist summons and arena fights, enhancing the importance of this game mechanic. Dark Souls 3 already had embers working in this manner for duelists, so it was a bit weird that rune arcs didn't work the same way. Reducing restrictions on great runes and physic flask effects provides more options for defense and health bonuses, mitigating the issue of excessively high damage in PvP, which leads to overly short fights. Elden Ring's vast open world lacks suitable dueling spots with a site of grace in proximity, unlike past games like Dark Souls 3 with the Pontiff Arena.
What you mean? Freaking Mag is such a pretty circle. Very good.
Poor Mag died a long time ago.
It's literally gone.
Mag is dead.
Oh, I miss my 40 FPS duels in Mag.
Don't worry, the DLC will fix all of this. The
Yeah,
DLC will introduce a perfect
twice the
site
size
of
of Mag. It must be twice the size, dude. Oh, I wish.
A quality of life improvement would be placing a site of grace within the Colosseum arena maps to create community hubs. The beautiful Colosseum arenas remain largely unexplored, missing out on the potential for community fight clubs, especially if small, square and rectangular maps were introduced. If hardware limitations prevent exploring the Colosseum, consider adding a site of grace to the arena in Stormvile Castle, a well-sized and shaped arena currently distant from other sites of grace. Larval tears are key items that are used with Runala to change your character attributes. In a single playthrough, larval tears for attribute respects are limited. Once depleted, players must enter New Game Plus for more. PvP-focused players, often experimenting with builds, find this extremely tedious. To address this, it would be wise to offer balanced alternatives like Covenant rewards or a Rune Arc shop to obtain larval tears. A PvP-centered way to renew the item would maintain rarity and incentivize PvP participation. Also, the Demon Souls down-leveling feature should make a comeback, but in a more user-friendly manner by utilizing larval tears with my mum. This change would greatly benefit multiplayer activity, enabling players who have exceeded the level bracket where most others play to down-level and join them, saving hours of character restarts. This, along with the earlier suggestion of infinite respecs, simplifies build creation and enhances PvP enjoyment. You've made it to the end of the first part, Tarnished. I really hope that wasn't much of a sleeper for you. I want to point out that all of the changes and balances we suggested were previously implemented in other FromSoft titles. This is important because it shows that we are not asking for new and extravagant things, but for the return of community-loved features that would tremendously improve Elden Ring. In the next part, we will discuss more technical improvements and suggestions for the gameplay itself, such as frame data, poise values, and other little aspects that can enhance PvP and create a cleaner experience for everyone. But the best part is, you won't have to wait for FromSoft to implement those balance changes, because Part 2 will come with a free-to-use mod that already includes all the balance tweaks from Part 2. You can try them out yourself after watching the video. The community is putting a lot of effort into this, and we want people to know that PvP can be great, you know? It's not this scary boogeyman that everyone should fear, as some people think. It's a harmless, awesome activity where you can experience unique situations that you won't find in any other type of game. So if you've made it this far, we hope to see you in Part 2 as well. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, a comment, and most importantly, share it with friends. Consider subscribing to Only Waifu, Gabri, or any of the other wholesome nerds who made this video possible. Remember to eat fruits and...
Oh yeah, we were so useful.
Well, I don't know about you, but...
You contributed actually more to it?
Well, I mean, not contributed, but like I just went over everything with him, told him what I thought, you know. Same with like the PvP page back then. They pretty much reviewed everything they wanted with me.
No, I barely did anything. I went through it with Frosty. but it's very little of it overall. Like, this is basically any contribution of mine.
Veggies, and as
So, yeah.
always,
Well,
thanks
your
for
name is
watching.
there. Just deal with it, bro.
I have no idea why, but okay. I guess I will take it. I mean, the video is good. There is few things that I just simply disagree about. I think, like, you know, from the top of my head, this the entire arena section is
Yeah.
more of a miss than hit. The rest, I think, was okay. I don't recall any other section that was like a miss.
Did they mention about the Taunter Stong turning off being a problem? I don't think they did.
Yeah,
right?
they did. There was
They
like,
did? Okay.
in the 4-player limit, like, yeah, they mentioned that, like, it is simply a bullshit, and yeah, it is. Yeah, the video is overall positive. Yeah, I would say it is just net positive. And yeah, like, we have like around more than 20 people here listed, at least at the end of the video, and that's like collaborative effort of many people, and kudos to them. Good thing that this community is still, well, they care enough for the sake of to do something like that. If it's going to reach from
Well,
software
when you say they
into
care enough, honestly, the driving factor here is really Gabri's drive.
Yeah.
Because Gabri's
I
the
mean,
one who's
as
really
always.
pushing and recruiting people, and kind of
Yeah.
it's really him who's pushing the project forward. Otherwise, I don't think this would come to fruition. So
I mean, like, every project needs a leader, yeah. It's kind of the thing, yeah. It's having a leader definitely helps. And Gabri is type of a leader, basically, both for the Elden Ring PvP Discord for once, yeah. Or now with this, with his stuff related to his mods. The one that is pretty much guaranteed that the patch 1.10 was based off. So yeah, the guy is a gem. Good thing we have him. But yet again, what is important is to share this video among as many people as possible, so it's gonna reach gamers.
I'm a bit confused because there was supposed to be a Japanese translation. I don't know what's their plan with that. Like, if it's like integrated into the captions, if it's like another vid that they're gonna translate in Japanese.
Yeah,
to
there is nothing for now. There is no.
Yeah, I'm
Japanese
confused
translation.
because they got like a person to translate it, so I don't know what's up about that.
It's kind of shame
I'm gonna
that it
ask
wasn't released from the get-go with the Japanese translation. Because yeah, it would, if they have everything translated already, then that would be definitely a good idea to well, drop the translation now. But yeah, especially because waifu has entire text. Yeah, it's not only written in the script; it's also literally dropped into the AI generator. And
No, but I thought they would have like subtitles or something.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that's
I need
my
to talk
point.
to him.
It's-
I need to ask him.
let me see. Maybe we're gonna
Maybe
restart
they
the video
scrapped
and
it.
it's-
Maybe they, I don't know. Maybe they have something else that they thought about.
Yeah, there is like nothing here. Yeah, that's definitely we would need the translation. But yeah, it's definitely the communication with FromSoft is proven to be possible. It's just that it's very fucking hard for the Western audience. And but yeah, it's good video. I think it's gonna be overall net positive at the end of the day. Do you have anything besides, because yeah, Thunderstorm was actually they spoke about it, yeah, the problem with the Thunderstorm being able to be turned off and on at will. They mentioned 4-player limit, of course, being an issue. They mentioned the arena, and we both disagree about the arena, and especially any type of search.
Did they mention new? Yeah, they did mention a few times square maps, but I think I would have gone further than that because it's not just square maps; it's just arena variety in general. It's like you don't want like you want some square and rectangular small maps for duels, but I think they only mentioned that because ultimately the people making this are mostly only duelists, from what I understood. But
Yeah.
for 2v2s, like you kind of want like maps with cover and like stuff in between, actually, not just empty squares.
Yeah. It's actually in Dark Souls 3, the 2v2 tournaments were rather played on the flat map still, no?
Wait, say that again?
So in Dark Souls 3, you had plenty of 2v2 tournaments, yeah?
Yeah.
And all of them were played on the flat maps, or some of them were played on the other maps too?
I think all of them were played in the circle flat one. But you have to keep in mind, Elden Ring is a much different game when it comes to team fights, because Elden Ring has access to way more projectiles, way faster projectiles. So, like the spell casting for the 2v2 aspect was strong in Dark Souls 3, but it's nowhere near what Elden Ring has. Like, Dark Souls 3 did not have like weapon projectiles like Moonveil or Dragon Breath or any stuff like that that could actually frame trap.
Yeah,
like Star Shower, stuff like that. So it wasn't as much of a problem in Dark Souls 3 to have like no cover, but in Elden Ring, I mean, it's clear like when you have like Wave of Piss, fucking Dragon Breath, like so many things that are very hard and difficult to deal with when you're fighting multiple opponents, it's definitely necessary to have like some sort of cover.
Absolutely. I was just curious if the comps in Dark Souls 3 tried different maps for the
We played a lot on different maps. I just don't remember if any tournament was hosted on other maps.
But yeah, like you mentioned, it's overall for me. I was very surprised that we got arenas without any sort of the obstacles in there. Like, well, there is one. Yeah, you have the K-Lead map that has 4 pillars, and you can use them. But it's such a minimal type of the obstacle. It's barely usable anyway.
To FromSoft's defense, though, when the arena came out in Dark Souls 3, it was pretty much the exact same thing that Elden Ring has. They came out with one map, and
that was
the other maps came with the DLC. So I think that they're going to do the same thing. It's just that they decided to, instead of just one map, they recycled one map and made it 3 times. But I think more maps are going to come with the DLC. I hope I'm not coping, but that's what happened in Dark Souls 3, so I'd say there's a fairly high chance that this is going to repeat again. We're going to get more maps when the DLC comes out.
In DLC we trust. Let's hope it's not going to be the same like with the official release of Elden Ring. Dude, I really hope like this game is going to have the second life after DLC.
Oh, I mean, it's the worst case scenario is going to be like a good PvE that's going to attract like the casuals back. I think that's like the worst case scenario, which is not that bad when you think about it.
Yeah.
And then best case scenario, like from there, I think we have a likely chance that they're going to introduce at least like one map where there's a 6-player limit, because they did that historically in the past with the Ring City and the DLC in Dark Souls 3. So I don't think that's out of the question, even if they don't increase, let's say, the player limit across the entire game, which I think is actually unlikely. I think it's possible that in the DLC we get like one specific area. It's like a forest or a pontiff or like some sort of area where you have to go through this area, and it's more like a PvP-centric designed area. I mean, they've done it with pretty much all their games, so I don't think it would be completely far-fetched to think that this is going to come. But yeah, I mean, we still have no confirmation of stuff like that, so at the end of the day, it's still just opium.
It's still just opium. And yeah, it's for now we have to wait for at least announcement of the DLC.
Well, we know when it's gonna happen. That Game Award for sure.
For sure,
December.
100%. It's definitely going to happen.
That one, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be there. Though, to be fair.
Didn't you say the same about? I think like Armored Core 6 was every single bigger event was like G9 saying, "Oh, they are going to announce Armored Core 6 now." Definitely going to happen.
All right, let's see Game Award. Let's see who's right.
I know. Hey, I also bet on that one. Let's make it clear.
Ah, okay. No, I see how it is.
But hey, I assume that I still might be wrong because it's from software. Dude, I just wish. I'm on the hopium, yeah, but at the same time I'm on kind of, you know, on the reality check from the past. Let's call it that way.
I think everyone
Or
wants
just
to keep
subscribe. The
expectations
Elton
as low as
boss like
possible because
looking
everyone
last
is
night or
tired
scared
of
of
getting
the
disappointed by stuff,
Yeah.
which is understandable.
True,
Honestly,
true.
I don't even have like that much of a high hopes for the DLC. I know like Frosty is like imagining that we're gonna literally get like Elden Ring on top of Elden Ring as far as content, but I don't, and like all the covenants coming back and like everything like that, 6-player limit, whatever. But I don't know. I'm expecting the minimum, and I'll be happy with whatever else we get.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's as you said before, yeah, at the end of the day it is still going to be just, it's gonna be positive for the game, yeah, no matter what, even if
Yeah,
it's gonna bring bare minimum.
exactly.
Well, finishing the thoughts, it's, well, the video was mostly fine, so I'm happy with that. We are waiting for the part 2 probably within a week or something like that, and we're gonna see what else Gabri and friends actually cooked.
Hello, gamer? Memories broken, freedom goes unspoken.